are you kidding me? They'll actually give them some sort of respect for the stupidity that they just said. Well, no, what that person deserves for their stupid sentence is, are you kidding me? They need to be told, they need to have it shown to them that they just said something that is breathtakingly stupid and very, very wrong. We tend to not stand up for ourselves enough, and I think it's because we're not all that sure that we're right. We certainly don't act like it. And this ties back to the conversation last week about not knowing how to be victorious, not knowing how to act when we win. Because we're like, we won, but did we really deserve it? Are we really right about all this stuff? They're bullying us. Maybe they have a point. Well, no, actually, they do not.
My gosh, we're $18 trillion in debt. No, they don't have a point. You know, this is ridiculous. Look at what look at the condition of our country right now. They don't have a point. Anybody who wants to spend one dime that we don't have doesn't have a point. Anybody who wants to back down to Islam when more people are being killed in the name of one religion than all of the religions on the planet doesn't have a point. You know, and I agree, Leslie, you're so right. You hear they make a ludicrous statement or take a ludicrous stance, and then you try to be nice and just go back and forth. Look, think of the audience. The audience is not going to be inspired by two academic colleagues exchanging niceties. That doesn't mean they want to see a brawl. Okay, they don't want to see Jerry Springer. But when Mitt Romney in the first debate tore Barack Obama apart, notice he did it with a smile. You don't have to be mean. Reagan did it with a smile when he went up against his foes. He did it with a smile, but he was clear, and he did not back down. And I'll leave it with this. You know, you may like or dislike, you know, where Rush Limbaugh has gone with his career. You may like or dislike where Glenn Beck has gone with his career, but let me tell you something. They stunned the left. The left didn't see him coming. They were the bloodying of the nose of the bullying left in media.
Let's make a distinction here, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. When you are talking about taking on the advocates for the left, their clerical class, I guess right. You would say, the people who are the talking point constructors and authors and pushers of those messages, those people are the ones engaging in behavior that needs to be called out as forcefully as possible.
Right, not the person who simply has a disagreement with you and who you're trying to reach. Not the person who has been conditioned to be afraid of conservatives and believe that we want to control their lives. That's the person you need to break down walls with and reach.
Right, and I think that is a distinction that often gets lost when we talk about this, because right. There is the left, the institutional left that we're talking about, and then there are people who have been left washed. And I don't want our audience to misunderstand that this means that flame wars everywhere on the internet and in real life are the way we should always go. That you need to have situational awareness of with whom you're speaking and where they come from. And that is how you get to that, by asking questions, listening to people. But when you have an institutional member of the left, those are the guys the fangs should be sharpened for, and everything, all the weapons come to bear on those guys, because the people watching, as long as you're not a real asshole about it, I'm going to say it, then they're going to see that destruction of their talking points and see you call them out as ridiculous based on the ridicule that you're doing of the policies that they're advocating. If you're starting to call names, you're not doing anything productive at all. It's about the policies and the mocking of the of that are that stupid or that ridiculous. But it's not about being a jerk. It's about being aware of who your audience is and who's watching this exchange as well.
Right. I mean, and once again, let's say you got to keep in mind most people believe that we in the right disapprove of them and want to control their lives, especially young people, right? That's what they think. They think we disapprove of them. We want to tell them how to live their lives. We want to control them. They're wrong, but that's what they think. If you go in and start badgering and beating them down with your talking points, what are you doing? You're backing up their wrongful perception of you. They feel that you're trying to control them in this discussion. Now everything they believe about the right has just been backed up. That's why when we come out and badger and beat up, in those cases, it's very ineffective. And by the way, when I say that we need to cut them to ribbons in debate, in things like going against the liberal elite and so forth, even that doesn't have to be nasty. Every now and then it does have to be when somebody is advocating something that's horrible, like Al Sharpton.
You have to give them that. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to give them that.
Absolutely.
When you just respond with silence or, well, on another topic, moving on, just letting it sit there and say moving on to the next thing, you've accepted the insanity that they just said.
Right. And really quick here, if you just come out, it's kind of like a fight. If you just come out flailing and trying to throw roundhouse punches, they are going to love you because you're making them look good. But if you come out and bloody their nose with precision punches, and I'm talking rhetorically, okay, and cut them up and cut them down into pieces like that, like Trey Gowdy does on the floor, like Paul Ryan did with Barack Obama when they first had that first discussion that's been YouTubed everywhere on Obamacare. It was breathtaking, and he came out and said all kinds of things, first of all, that we agree on, and took the fire, the air out of Obama's sails, the wind out of his sails. And then he started cutting them up, one by one by one by one, precision bloodying of the nose. And by the end of it, Obama looked like he had just, I don't know, lost his family or something. He had just been shredded. He knew he was in over his head. He was up against somebody who was simply superior to him. It was like you just got in a fist fight with a guy who was 500 pounds of pure muscle and fast. There's nothing you can do, and he was helpless. That's the kind of thing people need to see. And when they see us backing down, what they see is us not being confident in our position. And we can never, ever, ever. It's always fine to say, hey, I don't know on that topic. And that's great. That shows you're human. But don't ever show confidence that you're wrong when the other side is being bad.
So Andy just gave a good example of Obamacare and how they've been kind of bullied on that and pushed on it. Another thing that we need to make sure to keep pushing on, keep mocking the people involved on is the IRS targeting scandal. There was more news that came out today. Forbes had a good article on it that talked about how Lois Lerner knew, Steve Miller knew, the Obama Justice Department was involved. They're starting to uncover thousands of emails from all of this, and we need to keep the pressure on this. This is a big deal. There's now no doubt that they used it as a political weapon. There's no doubt that they stonewalled and kept it under wraps until after the election because they knew it would hurt. This is the same or worse as Nixon and Watergate. There's no criminal break-in, but using the IRS against your political enemies is a lot worse than just trying to find some documents. I mean, this needs to be all over everything. We need to take every chance to mock everyone involved, make sure everyone knows, share everything you can about it, whether it's articles, parody videos, Saturday Night Live skits if they dare take it on, Jon Stewart if he dares, just whatever we need to do to keep this in the conscience or in the eyesight of everyone out there.
And it's far worse than Watergate because Watergate was about a re-election and it was snooping on a re-election committee, the Democrat committee by re-election people. This is the IRS, which is the largest, most effective bully that this nation has, and they're targeting awful lot of people all across the nation. And Ryan, you just talked about it in the past tense. I have no confidence that they're not doing it anymore. I have none whatsoever. I fully believe that they are still doing it.
Oh no, it's a pattern with the Obama administration that they punish their enemies. That's what Valerie Jarrett said they would do after the election, and I have no doubt they're using every agency at their disposal to punish people, whether it's IRS, I mean, fast.
And how much have they just intimidated into silence organizations that just shut down, gave up, quit pursuing tax-free status, silenced themselves? We'll never know.
Absolutely not. And I think that it is important that we keep the IRS as the focus here and what actually went down because of the IRS. Instead of just tying everything in and saying the Obama administration, we need to remember to keep the IRS at the top of the page as well, because that's the scariest bit to me, is the fact that this is a government agency that's not supposed to be political at all.
Also, everyone hates the IRS anyway, so it's...
And everybody already hates, yes.
And the bad crap is going to outlast Obama, because this is permanent bureaucracy stuff. These people are lifetime employees, lifetime government bureaucrats. And they do it now because their bosses have told them that it's the cool and right thing to do. And it will just become their normal modus operandi. I dropped some Latin on you guys. There you have it.
Should maybe bullying, because bullying goes to the heart of control, and I always say choice versus control, individual liberty versus collective control. When we draw that clear line, Americans can clearly see who's on what side. You know, if we just come out with our list of stances on 20 different topics, it's too gray area. People can't get their minds around that. So what if politically we started coming out and highlighting bullying in its various forms in the IRS? How about executive orders? That's bullying. Okay, I'm not going to work with the other side. I'm not going to work with Congress, even if they're on my side. I'm going to get my way. I'm going to force my way while I have the power. I believe that right now. What about Harry Reid taking away the filibuster? Okay, we could list out one thing after another on the screen and simply say, bullying. Do you like to be bullied? Here's what a bully does. When they have the power, here's what a bully does. They don't work with, do bullies work with others? No, they run them over. They run people over. They use the power and they run people over. They don't listen. They don't work with others. They use agencies like the IRS and they target. They use agencies like the EPA and they target industries that don't support their campaigns more than those that do. They use, every one of these scandals, one after the other. And here's the thing. I think this could actually work because Americans are listening now. Look at the last election. They're mad. They don't trust this president. They don't. They really don't. And my gosh, did you see he just got a 15% approval rating with the military? Now, I won't say that low, but that's incredible due to recent events. They despise him.
Actually, that will probably stay that low. If you look at the trend, it continued all the way down. It has never risen. His approval rate in the military came in at a certain level when he was elected, and it has continued a downward trend since he was elected. And that's in 2009. So I say 15% can continue to get lower.
Well, you can sum it up with this and say, what kind of people bullies do like, though? Other bullies. Cuba. They immediately, hey, man, you don't have to give us anything, and we're going to normalize relations with you, and you can continue being the biggest bully you want, and we're fine with it. Bullies love bullies. Okay? So first, here's all the way they're bullying you. Here's the way they bully Congress. Here's the way they bully people with political operatives. Here's the way they target the Tea Party and other groups just because they don't get along with them. And then they hang out, and then what do? They reward other bullies. Do you want bullies running your government? Do you want bullies running your life? We say no.